Right guys, welcome back to the channel, and this is the video where I'm going to be focusing on just the Craftworlds side of the Phoenix Rising book. I think there's some very cool stuff in here. Very much like the Space Marine book, if you want to create your own Craftworld, you can certainly give buffs to the specific units that you've got in your army and build it much more appropriate to what you are using, as opposed to sticking to the 5 Craftworlds in the Eldery book. So let's have a look. There is a lot of stuff in here for Eldery, and I think it adds a lot of flavour to what is in your codex. So first of all, we've got a couple of points. We've got Jinzar 115 and Howling Banshees are 9 points each. The Executioner is 7. Mirror Swords are 4. Power Swords are 4. The Triskel is 6 points, and the Banshee Mask 0. We've also got an Azurani name generator, which is also in the Drukhari one as well, which is very interesting. There is a couple of updated data sheets in here, namely Jinzar and the Howling Banshees. We do have some new powers of the Aspect Shrines, and we've got Runes of Fortune, which is a new psychic discipline as well as some create your own Craftworld attributes. Very cool stuff in here. So first up, we've got Jinzar. The new model is fantastic, and I cannot wait to actually get her painted up. I will briefly cover the rules for Jinzar. I know that the Warhammer community page did cover them in quite a lot of depth. She still doesn't have an invuln. She does not have acrobatic though, which means that she can charge even if she advanced. And if she advanced this turn, you can choose it to have a 15-inch charge instead of 12, and you can add 3. And I think that's to represent, she's charging forward as a result of that advance move. When this model fights, you can choose for the attack characteristic to be equal to the number of enemy models within 2 inches of it after any piling moves. So, you don't necessarily have to have 4 attacks. If you charge a horde, you get a lot more attacks, which is, it's pretty handy. So she's going to be swinging with 4 attacks base at strength 6, hitting on 2s, -3 D3 damage. You can re-roll the wound roll as well. So against Marines, for example, Intercessors, if you charge a squad of 5 or 6 of them, you're going to get 5 or 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, re-rolling for -3 D3 damage each. And in addition, of course, because she is wearing a Banshee Mask, you can't fire Overwatch. We've also got Cry of War and Ending. If any Howling Banshee units are within 6 at the start of the fight phase, they always fight first in the fight phase, even if they did not charge. If the enemy has units that have charged or has similar abilities, then alternate choosing units to fight with, starting with the player whose turn is taking place. So basically, you have to charge Jinzar, you have to activate that one first, as you may have seen in the battle report that I've already put up. And Washout, basically subtract 1 from hit rolls against Jinzar, so she can kind of protect herself a little bit like that, and depending on what you go after. So, nice rules, I like it. Howling Banshee's got the acrobatic rule. They also got the Washout rule as well, which is -1 to hit. They've got the Banshee Masks as well. The new models do look very nice. I'm still running the really old 2nd edition metal ones, but yeah, I do like these. They look very nice. From what I can see, I don't think the stats actually changed at all. The rules just changed ever so slightly. But nevertheless, I'm excited to run a block of 10 Banshees now. I think, running and charging and then making a 15-inch charge when they already move 8 inches, that's going to be pretty good. So the Exarch can take extra Exarch powers now, which is very tasty. So obviously the Washout is the Exarch's ability at the moment, and the Washout is -1 to hit. But if we turn the page over to here, to Howling Banshees, You can swap out -1 to hit for any of these, okay? But if that's not enough, you can pay 1 CP and take one of these in addition. So one of the ones that I like, for example, is Disarming Strike. You pick one model within an inch of it and you subtract 2 from his attacks. All of a sudden that Space Marine Smash Captain's got 2 less attacks. That's pretty good. So there's one Whirling Blades, which gives you an extra attack. If you're equipped with Mirror Sword, you get +2 attacks instead. And there's quite a whole host of different ones as well, which is very, very tasty. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I will read a couple of my favourite ones out. So if we go back over to Fire Dragons, for example, Dragon's Bite. Whilst this unit contains a Fire Dragon Exarch at the start of your shooting phase, you can change the type characteristic of the unit's fusion guns to Pistol 1. Yep, that's pretty good. When resolving an attack made against with a Fire Pike by this unit's Fire Dragon Exarch against a vehicle, you can reroll 1d6 when making a damage roll. So that gives you a free command point specifically for the damage every time you shoot. This one, Wall of Fire. When this unit fires Overwatch, Fire Dragon Exarch in the unit equipped with the Dragon's Breath Flamer, you can make a Wall of Fire attack. If he does so, instead of shooting, roll a d6, and on a 2+, the unit charging suffers d3 mortal wounds. That's pretty good. Dire Avengers, there's a couple, but I feel like they're geared more towards larger squads. So, Bladestorm. Whilst this unit contains a Dire Avenger Exarch, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon that does not have the grenade type by model in the unit, and a modified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit. I like that. The Dark Reapers, though. Dark Reapers were already good. All of a sudden, they just got better. So, you'd probably keep the Dark Reapers on power. However, you've got Rapid Shot, which gives you an extra shot with the Exarch. You can add 6 inches to the range for models in the whole unit. They've already got a decent range. I like this one, Deadly Touch. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, it's a melee weapon. I didn't realise that. But an unmodified wound roll of a 6 does 2 mortal wounds. I thought that was just shooting. Focused Fire. When this unit is chosen to shoot with this unit's Dark Reaper Exarch, he can target a character unit, even if it is not the closest unit, so long as the target is within 18 of the Exarch. So basically, he just becomes a sniper, which is very good. Very, very good indeed. There's a lot of really other cool ones. I won't go over all of them, guys, as you can appreciate. There's 6 per shrine. There's a lot there. One that I did like, though, the Shining Spears. The Paragon Saber that this unit's Shining Spear Exarch is equipped with has a damage 3, which is very good. When resolving an attack made with a Laser Lance or a Star Lance by the Shining Spear Exarch, and a modified hit roll of a 6 scores an additional hit. Or Skilled Rider. The Exarch has a 3-up invulnerable. I suspect that is going to get FAQ'd with Protect Jinx, so there can't be a 2-up invulnerable, because that's the way Games Workshop have been going with recent releases. So some very, very good stuff there, and I think there's some very interesting combos if you go Aspect Warrior heavy in your army. There's some very, very cool stuff there indeed. Of course, you've got the Crimson Hunter Exarch. You can make your Crimson Hunter Exarch even better. So when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by this model against a unit that cannot fly, reroll wound rolls of a 1. Hawkeye, you don't suffer the penalty to moving and firing heavy weapons. Brilliant. Or if you want more maneuverability, aerial maneuvering, you can turn 180 degrees before you turn, before you move, instead of a 90, and then you've got your 90-degree turn afterwards as well. That's brutal. So, Runes of Fortune is the psychic discipline. Now, any Craftworlds psyker can know these powers, but it is instead of Smite. So you trade your smite for this, basically. Which might not necessarily be bad for a Bone Singer, actually, because a Bone Singer only has smite. However, Fateful Divergence has a casting value of 4. Pick a friendly Craftworld unit within 6. Until the start of your next phase, you can re-roll a single hit roll, wound roll, or save roll for that unit. So that's not bad if you want to put guide on another unit, but you still want something to hit hard. Fire Prism, for example, or your Dark Reapers. It's pretty decent. And for a casting value of 4, it's good. Witch Strike has a casting value of 4. If manifested until the start of your next psychic phase, add 2 to the damage of the Psyker's melee weapons. It's okay. You're running Witch Staffs. To be honest, I don't know why you would take that one, but it's cool. Ghost Walk has a casting value of 6. Pick a friendly Craftworld unit within 6, and until the start of your next psychic phase, when a charge roll is made for the unit, add 2 to the result. So that's pretty good. Crushing Orb is a casting value of 4. Pick an enemy character within 18 and that is visible. Roll 3d6, and for each 5+, the character suffers a mortal wound. So basically, it's smite, but sniping it. It's pretty good. Next up, we've got Focus Will. Has a casting value of 6. Pick one friendly Craftworld Psyker within 6. Until the end of the phase, when a Deny the Witch test is taken, you can add 2. So that's pretty cool. And Impair Senses has a casting value of 6. Select an enemy unit within 18 invisible. Until the start of your next psychic phase, when that unit is chosen to shoot with, models in that unit can only target the closest visible enemy unless the target of the attack is within 18. So that's okay. This is the meat and bones, though, of the Craftworld side of things. There is a lot of very cool stuff in here, and I think depending on how you play your army, you can give 2 very specific traits to your style of play, and it makes it, there's going to be a lot of versatility in this. So I'll read, I'm going to go through all of these because there is quite a few good ones. So Children of Cain, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by an Aspect Warrior, model with this attribute on an unmodified wound roll of a 6, add 1 to the damage characteristic. So that's good if you're running Banshees and Shining Spears and Striking Scorpions. That's pretty good. Children of Morai Heg, when resolving an attack made with a model with this attribute in a unit in which at least half of its starting number of models have been destroyed, add 1 to the hit roll. For the purpose of this attribute, destroyed models returned to a unit with this attribute are still considered as having been destroyed. It's okay, but it's risky. You're not always getting that buff, and I'm not a fan of conditional buffs like that. I don't think that's great. Children of Prophecy, when a psychic test is taken for a model with this attribute, each individual dice roll of a 1 is instead treated as a 2. And you saw what Liam managed to pull with that. I mean, most of the Eldar powers need 7 to cast. Any ones you roll accounting as 2s, it's pretty beneficial. If you're running Psychic Heavy Army, you probably want that. Children of the Open Skies, when a unit with this attribute that can fly advances, add an additional 2 inches. So that's pretty good. If you are running a fly-heavy army. Diviners of the Fate, models with this attribute have a 6 of invulnerable. It's okay. Expert Crafters, when a unit with this attribute fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot or fight with, you can re-roll a single hit roll or a single wound roll. So it's basically Salamanders. Hey, it's pretty decent if you're running things with like Bright Lancers, and it's okay. Grim, when a morale test is taken for a unit with this attribute, you can re-roll the dice. So it gives them an they shall know no fear. Hail of Doom, I do like this one because I like to run Shuriken Heavy. When resolving an attack made with a Shuriken weapon by a model with this attribute against an enemy unit with within 12 inches of that model, improve the AP by 1. It doesn't affect Blade Storm, so you don't get -4 on a 6, it's still -3. Next up we've got Headstrong. Add 1 to the charge result. It's pretty decent, especially if you go on Banshees. That's +3 that they get, +4. And then the Sighted Power could make them +6 to your charge. So that's quite good if you're running a combat heavy army. I imagine Children of Cain plus Headstrong is probably pretty good for Shining Spears. And then of course if you take that Sighted Power to give them +2. Shining Spears are guaranteed 3-inch charge then. So I think you'll probably see that one a fair bit. Hunters of Ancient Relics. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of models with this attribute whilst they are within 3 inches of an objective. Again, it's situational. I'm not a fan of them ones, but it is very good. Martial Citizenry. When resolving an attack made by a Guardian model, reroll a hit roll of 1. If you're running Guardian Heavy, that's brilliant. If you're not, then it's not. It is situational, but it depends on your playstyle for that one. Masterful Shots. When resolving an attack made by a model with this attribute, the target does not receive the benefit of cover. Cool. Masters of Concealment. When resolving an attack made by ranged weapons against a model with this attribute that is more than 12 inches away, the unit is treated as having cover for its saving throw. So that's the way that most of the -1 to hit things are going now. So there's things in here that are very, very similar to the standard Craftworld traits, but you can build 2 very specific to how you want it. Mobile Fighters. When resolving an attack made by a model with this attribute in turn in which that model's unit disembarked from a transport, you can reroll hit rolls of a 1. Pretty good. Savage Blades. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model with this attribute in the turn in which it made a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention, you can reroll hit rolls of a 1. Strike and Fade. If you select this Craftworld attribute, you cannot select a second. Units with this attribute can charge during a turn in which they fell back. When a model with this attribute is not within 3 inches of an enemy unit, makes a consolidation move, it does not have to end that move closer to the nearest enemy model. That will be very, very situational, but I think with a competent player could be very good. Students of Vol. At the start of each of your turn, vehicle models regain 1 lost wound. That's okay. Superior Shurikens. Add 4 inches to the range characteristic of Shuriken weapons. So that's pretty good. That makes 28-inch Shuriken cannons and 16-inch Shuriken catapults for Guardians and bikes. Vengeful Blades. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model with this attribute against a Chaos unit, in a turn in which you charge, were charged, or performed a heroic intervention, you can reroll all hit rolls. Warding Runes. When a model with this attribute loses a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll a dice nullified plus the wound is not lost. Webway Warriors lets you use the Webway Strike stratagem again. And Wrath of the Dead lets Wraith Constructs reroll wound rolls of a 1. It does not say in the fight phase or the shooting phase you can reroll all. If you're running a Wraith heavy army, combine that with the Vigilance detachment. That's pretty good. Your Spirit Seers are giving you reroll hits of a 1. That's giving you reroll wounds of a 1. I'm sure there's another attribute there which will, very, very much help out Wraith. So that is the Eldery side of things, guys. I am pretty excited by this. I think, if you build your army a very specific way, you can pick a couple of attributes that are going to be very, very good and help buff your army in a certain way. This isn't Codex 2.0 for Eldar, but it does help them out a lot, and it does mean that they're at least going to have a little bit more flavour and a little bit more teeth, I think, in the right situation. So I really like what Games Workshop have done with this. Please check out the rest of the review videos for Drukhari and the overview of the whole book, and of course the battle report as well, if you want to see Janzar versus Drazar. But until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.